Good afternoon everybody, and a very warm welcome to Mildenhall and Districts, and my name is Susanna and I live with trains. And today is the much promised rolling stock update for you, and also my loco projects that I've been working on. So it's mainly a Dapol fest of, mainly, that's what it is, mainly it's Dapol fest of arrivals, but like I said, there's also some other projects going on. And also I would like to firstly start by saying a big massive thank you to Danny and his son Harry for coming over to see me yesterday from Ivor Junction. Now we had sort of pre-arranged, I should say that he has actually put up a video on his channel, so if you haven't seen it, just pop over to his channel and have a look at that. And I can't thank him enough for the high praise that he gave me. So I wasn't really expecting that, but I really I really enjoyed it. So like I said, it was so lovely to see him, because we had pre-arranged to meet this weekend, because this weekend is the Diesel Gala weekend over at the Watercress line, which both me and him were going to be, and Harry, we're going to attend all together. And for those of you who haven't seen his video, it's basically, I'll just quickly reiterate what we said on his video, is basically at least from my point of view, I found that it was too expensive for the ticket, for what you got, and the weather was so changeable, and really you didn't know what you were getting from 1 minute to the next. And even today, it really is sunshine, showers, winds, all in one go, and it really wasn't worth going. So we both decided that we weren't going to go, but he came here anyway, to my place, and as you've seen from his video, you know, we both had a great, well, we all had a great time, and Harry, his son, was enjoying himself playing with the trains and all the rest of it, which was really good to see. And I really enjoyed that, because like I said, I do like the idea of having other people around and helping me run the layout, and also just playing trains. I mean, I didn't set it up completely, but we all had a good time nonetheless. And Danny being Danny, and he knows, and I've said this before to you guys as well, that I do love my train memorabilia. There's all sorts of bits knocking about the flat with train memorabilia, whether it be my District Line seat, whether it be various mugs and stuff like that, and other bits and pieces that have turned up. I've got nameplates and all sorts. So yesterday, and I guess this comes part of the new arrivals update, he brought me some other little bits and pieces, which is so cool. Well, he's given me this little badge, which you probably can't tell on this blouse, but I don't know if you can see it, but there is a badge. You probably can't tell because it's kind of blended in with, it kind of blends in with the top that I'm wearing. He also, I guess my favourite piece of it was yet another mug, which is absolutely brilliant. I've got a Class 450 mug, which he kindly bought for me the last time we met up last year at the Watercress line. I've also got a metal mug and a thumper mug from the Watercress line, which I've also got. He's now brought me something else, which is absolutely brilliant, which is a Network Rail mug. So that's so cool, because I love my Network Rail stuff, and it's just another little memorabilia. And it's like I said, it's it all adds to the kind of ambience of the place and my love of trains and stuff like that. So quite literally, I live with trains. So if there's about 4 or 5 people come over, there's definitely no shortage of mugs, railway mugs, to sort of pass around for people to use. So that's absolutely fabulous. He'd also brought me one for Alan over at Dragon Junction, a cap. You probably might not like the South Western Railway cap, but yeah, got that. And he also brought me some SWR bunting. Right, so the crux of the video is basically over the last few months, and it is going back a few months when I started all of this, I just haven't got around to doing the video for it, and today's the day. And I keep saying on my videos that when I get stuff for the railways, it's usually I've basically reinvest the money from the railway to put back into it. So that's what the crux of this is. But we'll start with some local projects. And I've got a couple of local projects on the go. One is I've got this love at the moment, and as you've probably seen on my Goswell sidings, that I've been using my Class 20. And I do have a couple of other Class 20s. And these are these GB rail freight ones from Hornby. And I'll take it out because it'd be easier to see the comparison then of what I'm trying to explain to you. Now recently, in real life, reality, these Class 20s have actually been sold off by GBRF. This is 2905, and I've started on the project, but I haven't done this one, but I've done the other one, which is 2901. Now, they've been sold off by GB Rail Freight, and they've been sold to the Harry Needle Railway Company. And at the moment, they are running around debranded. They're not in the yellow, as far as I'm aware yet, but they have been sold to Harry Needle Railway Company. So they haven't got into the, I think it's orange they use. So they will probably eventually turn up. But at the moment, they're in this debranded livery. Now, so I've already done this one, where I've debranded this one. And this is exactly the same one as the other one. But what I've done is I've debranded it and taken the GB Rail Freight logos off the side of it. And I've also lightly sprayed over to give it the more darker GBRF blue that it originally was. Because if you look at it with this one, you can see the difference in the blue. And you can see that this one's still the original one that I haven't touched yet. And I will be doing and converting this one in the same way as this one. So basically, at the moment, 2901 and 2905, which is what these two are both currently in this debranded state, which is absolutely perfect for me because that gave me the excuse of actually giving these a slightly darker shade of a repaint blue, just so it kind of looks more like a GBRF colours. Whereas this one here is just so, the blue is just so different. It just doesn't look right. So I'm going to be doing the same with the GBRF 20 that I haven't done yet. So that's going to go the same way as this one. And so I had a bit of trepidation doing it, but overall, I think it's come out really, really nicely, and I'm really pleased with the results. And like I said, I will definitely, because I'm so pleased with how I've done this one, I will be doing 905. This is 901. My second project that I've been working on is this one, and this is the HST colourless rail, which I've resprayed. Now, as many of you know, I've got quite a number of these HSTs from, this is an old Lima one. And so basically I've now, and colourless, I think this is their new livery, but I don't know if they're rolling it out because I think this is just a one-off livery. Because they still run with this kind of LNER stroke EMR stroke coalesce patch job kind of livery, where it's still essentially the LNER colours of the red and white, which then got passed on to EMR, which then coalesce took over and then just basically patched the diamond on it and done that. Alan over at Dragon Junction kindly gave me a set of HSTs which he kind of was going to bin, and I said to him, I'll take them over from you, and he said, yeah, he said you can have them. So he kindly sent me those, so I've still got those. So one of them is going to be the back end of this one, and I'm just going to get, I know you can get the transfers for this, so I'm going to get the transfers for this and get this all patched up into a coalesce one, and then I can have it running around the layout. So at the moment, that's what the other project is. So welcome to Dapol Fest. So that's the main crux of this video. At the moment, the big talk is about Acura Scale and their new 37s, sound fitted, non-sound fitted, DCC ready. And many people have them and many people are happy and all sorts. For me, the Class 37 personally isn't one of my big favourites. I do own a few. I think I own about 2 or 3 of them, but they're not my absolute favourites. I see them knocking about and they do a job on my layout, and that's great. Currently I've got, as you've probably seen on my last video actually, 37099 Merle Evans, I think it's Merle Evans, the Colas liveried one, split head code, and I've also got the Vulcan one, which is the BR large logo one, the 558 one. And I don't think I've got any others. I think those are the only 2 I have. I could be wrong. There might be another one knocking about. Anyway, but many of you will know that some time ago, probably going back a few months, I did a video on the Dapol 73. And basically, I was so pleased with it that I've got another one. And the one that I bought after that one, because I was so pleased with the sound and I was pleased with the way it ran, because I had obviously heard about Dapol issues, running issues. So I was always a bit dubious about it, but when I found out that that one was running really, really well, my Southwest Trains one, I was so pleased with it and I loved the sound of it. And like I said, I did say about the sound on the Class 73, I do feel it is a bargain, because it is like you're getting 2 sound files in one with the electric and the diesel. So I bought another one. Well, I say I bought another one. Now, like I keep saying, if things don't work on my layout, they just go. I don't like dead money on the railway at all. And there are times where I've got rolling stock that I think to myself, I haven't run this in ages. When you know, I say, oh, I'll keep it and I'll run it at some point soon, and then it never gets run and it never gets run, and it's the same with locomotives. And so I don't like dead money sitting around on my layout. So if it doesn't run and I don't feel like I'm going to run it, then it will go. Or if I have issues with locos that are not running properly, or that are a bit knackered or a bit tired or worn, I just think, well, I'll get something from it and reinvest the money. And so a lot of the stuff, like I sold my car train, which I don't know if I mentioned this before, but I sold my car train and I also sold my Drax wagons. The reason, and I knew I'd get good money for both. Now, I didn't want to sell either of those, but the simple fact is none of them ran properly on the layout. They caused me nothing but grief and issues, and I just couldn't be bothered with them. And especially with the Drax wagons, I knew that I'd get my money back and more for them, and also with the car carrying wagons, because they're also still, you know, relatively sought after. And again, like I said, they didn't run properly. So like I said, I don't like dead money knocking about or things that don't run properly, because I know I just won't run it. So anyway, what happened is I got rid of a lot of stuff like that, and I've reinvested on some other stuff. So I got this Dapol 73. Now, it does say DCC fitted, but the reality is it is actually DCC sound fitted. And when I got this, I got it because of the livery and because I wanted the sound. But usually I find with sound fitted, factory sound fitted locomotives, they don't always sound as good as say the third party ones, because you always expect that the third party ones always make more of an effort to give you a better sound quality, or they've got proper sound files and all the rest of it. But I was actually really surprised, because I actually believe that this one I'm about to show you, it sounds better. And I showed it to Daniel yesterday and he agreed with me that this one actually sounds better than my Legoman Biffo 73. So I'll show it to you properly on the layout, but firstly I'll just show it to you in a box and we'll move on, and then we'll sort of get them out afterwards. So here it is. This is the Battle of Britain GBRF Class 73 109, and it's absolutely awesome. I mean, when I first switched it on, I was absolutely blown away by the sound that came out of this factory sound fitted 73. I have not opened it at all, or done anything with it. I haven't had to mess around with it, thankfully, and it runs absolutely fine, and I was just like really pleased with that. Moving on, we have a second 73, which is this one, and this one is the Class 73 Southern 73202. Now, I've been wanting this for a long time. It's actually originally a Gauge Master limited edition. This is brand new, and the reason why I wanted it originally because I really liked it, and I'm obviously a Southern Region person. However, there isn't any real rolling stock to go with this particular locomotive, and just like the South West Train 73, it was used more as a Thunderbird for the Southern Railway, but there is no Southern Railway stock. Nobody seems to be either interested or prepared to make it. There's absolutely nothing. The only thing you can do is you can buy kits. I've seen people buy kits for the Electrostar cabs that you can retrofit onto a Batman 170, I think. So you could probably convert and make a Southern one, which people have done, but that's beyond my capabilities. At Bractual Models also do kits for the 455 in Southern Region and also the 456, which I really wanted. But again, it's beyond my capability. I'm just not confident of putting these kits together. And also the other thing is you have to buy all the motors and everything separately. So it kind of left me with this dilemma that if I buy this locomotive, what am I actually going to do with it? Thankfully, there was a solution. And let me just show you it. There you go, that's it there. It really is beautiful. Now, the solution is that GBRF have actually purchased this locomotive. So that opens up a whole new possibilities of how to run it. And there's plenty of footage of it on YouTube to demonstrate it in action with GBRF. So it has been running and it's still in its green livery, although they've plastered the kind of garish kind of orange GBRF rail freight on the side of it with the 73202, which when you consider that this is green and white, it doesn't really go too well. It's not really, but it's basically a patch job. I'm not going to do that to this one. I'm just going to say that GBRF just got it. They've put it straight into service. They haven't had the chance to patch it up yet. So that's how I'm going with that. But it does give me an excuse to run it with my GBRF other 73s. Also to run it with Network Rail rolling stock, which is what they do quite a lot. They've been seen a lot down the Eastleigh Way and down this part of the world. So it's perfectly suitable for my layout. And thankfully now it's not with Southern Region and now with GBR Rail Freight, I do have stock that I can run this 73 with. Next, I did take it to Dapol Fest. This is my other Dapol 73. This is the third one out of 4, because obviously I've got the South West Trains one. And this one is another one that I like. I've always liked this one. However, that being said, we'll get onto that in a moment. This is the Dutch liveried Class 73. This is 73138. Now, I've always wanted to get this one, but the thing is with this one is that this one here, the Dutch one, is one of the early ones. This is the version 1, and people have had nothing but issues with these early version 73s, Dapol ones, including me. So basically the reason for getting this one is that only probably about a month ago, GB Rail Freight have actually repainted 73119. This is 138, but I'm not too fussed. This is like a representation. But basically, GB Rail Freight have just recently repainted 73119 in this Dutch heritage livery, and it looks absolutely ace. And when I was talking to Danny about it yesterday, he did say to me he has actually seen this one. I think he told me he saw 73202, but I know 73202 has been around here. So that gave me the excuse to get this one. Now, like I said, this one was the most problematic of all of my Dapol 73s, because this one did not, it had running issues from the get-go. It had running issues from the get-go. The lights were wired the wrong way around, so because it was one of the early ones. So what I had to do to get this to work properly, which it now does, is I had to take the bogie frames off. I've had to clean the pickups because there was too much grease basically on the pickups and on the axles, which meant that the conductivity wasn't as good as it should have been, which is why it was stuttering and stopped starting. There is a video on YouTube, so if you've got one of these that is running poorly, that you can actually does show you how to remove the bogie frames, so you can actually get to the underneath of the cogs and the pickups to actually give them a good clean. On top of that, I put a decoder in it with a stay alive also, so that seems to have killed that as well. And this is the only, I should point out also that this has the distinction of being the only locomotive in my fleet that has a stay alive in it. None of the other ones do, so this is the only one with a stay alive in it. And I also swapped the motor plus and motor minus wires round so that the lights work in the right direction as they should have done in the first place. So when I bought, and this was got brand new. Like I said, I went to AC Models in Eastleigh to get this, and I, like I said, traded in a load of stuff. I had sort of thought that I was going to have issues with this, so I was sort of aware that when I got it home, I knew that this is probably going to be the one locomotive that was going to probably give me some grief. And sure enough, it didn't disappoint. So it did give me quite a lot of jip. However, it's now running and it's fine. Last but no means least, with the old Dapol comes, this came from Jenny Kirk via Alan over at Dragon Junction. Because some time ago I'd spoken to Alan, as I do. I mean, I speak to him on I wouldn't say daily basis, but probably 2-3 times a week, maybe more. And we usually have a good old chinwag about all sorts of stuff. And one time he mentioned to me about whether I'd seen Jenny Kirk's latest video, and he was mentioning to me about these containers that were limited edition from Rail to Sheffield. So I popped over to Jenny Kirk's channel and had a look at these these containers that she was promoting or plugging for Rail to Sheffield, and I basically ordered a pack. And I tell you what, these were apparently they were due in June, and they were here at my door on the 1st of June. I think it was the 1st of June, maybe even the end of May. So they were ahead of schedule. So these are the twin pack Maersk containers, which I really like. So these are like the LGBT colours, I guess. I'm assuming that's what it is. It's to do with the pride. So, and obviously I make no bones about who I am, so I'm part of that LGBTQ plus community is the word. So just to show you in the flesh, this is my Dutch liveried, as you can see, 73. This is the version 1. And like I said, this is the one that's had the most issues that I've had. And it also doesn't have the switch inside to turn off the lights and switch the cab lights and all sorts. But it is a beautiful locomotive, and like I said, it's been recently repainted in this heritage scheme by GB Rail Freight, which is why I have it on my layout. And it really is a very nice locomotive and will form part of my GB Rail Freight fleet. So this is the second of my Dapol 73s in the Southern Region colours. And I really do like it in these colours. But like I said previously, there isn't really any Southern Region stock, EMU stock to run with it. But I'm not sure actually if Formby are bringing out their Southern Region Veps. That's something I need to look at because I can't remember what ones they're doing exactly. I know they're doing the South West Trains one, which I've got on pre-order, but I don't know if they're doing a Southern one. And it's absolutely beautiful. It really does look really, really nice with all the various pipe works and colours and all sorts. It looks absolutely grand. It does look really good. And it runs well as well, so that's cool. And that one actually came DCC fitted. So the Dutch one was DCC ready, this one's DCC fitted, and the other one that I'm going to show you is DCC sound fitted. And in the background you may notice that I've slung on one of the containers on the back of the Freightliner lorry, just so you can see it in its kind of environment and so you can see how it looks. So down the end there is my Class 73 GBRF. And what we'll do is we'll bring it towards us. So we'll fire it up. I don't know what I can say about that. Do you know, I tell you what, it reminds me of when I first put the Coastal DCC sound into my Class 50. That's how good I rate this chip. I don't know who makes the sound for it, because this is a factory fitted sound file, and it sounds absolutely unbelievable. And you just have to wait for it to build up and then it will eventually get going. It's kind of a bit reminds me of like the Lego Man Biffo chip. There you go. It sounds great. And I love the horns on the 73. It just sounds absolutely fabulous. Now this is on diesel mode. And even all the brake sounds and everything, it just sounds absolutely awesome. Love it. Absolutely love it. Now if you press F6, it will switch it over to electric. You can probably hear it's gone to electric now. And it does sound like that. And oh yeah, there's something else I didn't mention, but I'll show you that as a little bonus at the end of the movie before we shut down. All right, let's bring it back. That just sounds absolutely quality. I love the sound file on this 73. I really do. I think I prefer it to the one, my Lego Man Biffo one. And that's good. All these other little, I'm not pressing any of this other stuff. Like the brakes squeal, the compressor, that's all automated. So let's just shut that down. So, as a bit of a Brucey bonus, which I forgot to mention to you, which I'm glad I remembered just in time. Now, I watch a lot of cab ride stuff, and it helps me understand the railway a bit more and the infrastructure and sort of how to do my scenery a bit. Now, because of my love of these 73s, and I've actually ended up buying, now this seems a bit old school to be honest, but that's just me, 4 DVDs to do with the Class 73. And I've watched every single one of them, and it's absolutely brilliant, because nothing gives you a better understanding of a loco than actually seeing it in service. And if you get one of these dedicated DVDs, these are all, like I said, dedicated to the Class 73s, but you know, it doesn't matter what you like, you can get dedicated DVDs for the Class 50 and stuff like that. There's also stuff on YouTube that you can watch. Now, one of them that gave me the idea, which was the Arcs and Sparks, was actually on YouTube, but the quality was not very good. So, and there's also something satisfying that although that these are DVDs and this is considered very, very old school when you think of Blu-rays and downloading, streaming and all this kind of stuff, it is actually satisfying that I can actually put one of these DVDs in my Blu-ray player. So my Blu-ray player will actually upgrade these anyway, the picture quality, without having all that nonsense that you get from YouTube with all the adverts. It's like this, you could just stick it in the Blu-ray player and watch it all the way through with no adverts or anything like that, and that is very, very satisfying. And also you learn a lot about the Class 73s and how they interact their diesel traction with the electric, and when to use it and when not to use it and what circumstances, and you just learn all of this stuff, and I think it's absolutely brilliant, and I've enjoyed every single one of these DVDs. This particular one here was literally just seeing them running around. All the other 3, these 3 here, were actually cab rides. Now, my particular favourite was actually this one, which is the Harbour Lights one, and this is with the GBRF Class 73s, as you can see on the front cover there, and that went down to Folkestone Harbour. And Folkestone Harbour has a special place and a special meaning to me, because I've been down there a number of times. It's absolutely beautiful. I went there on the Class 395 Javelin, which I also have by Hornby, and I went with my good friend Rails, Dave, and I'll never forget that day. That was a really lovely day out, and we had such a lovely time exploring the Folkestone Harbour, and we keep meaning to go back there. So that was a particularly good DVD, because this was just before they really shut it down and all the rest of it. So this was the last run down there. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this rather long video, and until the next time, it's goodbye from Mildenhall and Districts. My name is Susanna, and I live with trains. So until the next time, bye-bye.